Hello, I'm Joyce Jacobsen, longtime professor of economics, currently also president of Hobart and William Smith Colleges in Geneva, New York, United States of America, and author of Advanced Introduction to Feminist Economics. This short book represents over 30 years of thought on my part about the intersections between economics and feminism. I do not claim to provide the definitive version of feminist economics, but this book does represent the culmination of my thinking on the subject. Much of the scholarly writing of feminist economics is not readily accessible to the beginner, whether beginner is defined as someone who is an accomplished economist but new to feminist thinking, or as someone who is a new student of economics. There is no full-length textbook treatment of the subject of feminist economics to date, nor is the subject covered in standard textbooks on economics, or for that matter, in books on feminism and feminist theory. This book attempts to fill the gap between the scholarly literature and a textbook treatment. Chapters are intentionally short so as to create relatively digestible chunks that can also serve as prompts for discussion in college classroom settings. While the book does presuppose some basic knowledge of economics, which many college students and adults now possess, it is an advanced introduction only in the sense that it does not define various standard economics terms and concepts that would be covered in an introductory course in economics. Feminist economics calls for inclusive inquiry in terms of both topics studied and who studies them. It turns a critical and gender-aware eye on the field of economics as well as on how real-world economies function. It attends to understudied topics, often those considered feminine topics, such as how households operate. It emphasizes human and systems interconnectivity rather than independence, and reminds us that economics is about both efficiency and equity. It questions the traditional divide between the positive, what is, and normative, what should be, in economics without foregoing objectivity. Feminist critiques of economics serve in large part to rehumanize economics as a field and remind us that answers, if they are to questions that have become devoid of meaning, are not really answers after all. Economics tends to get a bad rap as being the dismal science or being too serious, too difficult, or dull. Feminism also tends to get a bad rap for being too negative or critical or for taking itself too seriously. Personally, I find both economics and feminism to be endlessly fascinating and relevant, and believe that they are interesting approaches, particularly when combined, to take towards almost any topic. I have tried to demonstrate this by bringing up many interesting topics in this book that both analytical lenses can be used to study, so as to convince you to be more inquisitive and hopefully come around to my way of thinking.